All right, welcome to another Zoom call. Got a bunch of questions to go over. Just a reminder, go to the member site for all announcements. If there's any changes, it will be on the member site. And good news, all our labs are back and back in full force, big time back, because now we can offer labs literally just at cost. Rupa is who we have partnered with, who a lot of practitioners partner with. And the benefit, they charge 7% above practitioner wholesale pricing. So it's really nice. And they ship the labs out, they ship the kits out. So that saves us time as a clinic. And they have even better videos than the lab has on how to do things. They'll help you find a local draw site, etc. So that's really, really good. Also, your supplements, you can get a 5% discount on all your supplements if you sign up for a subscription. All our supplements are on the subscription model now. We just got done adding that for the last 2 months. So that's all available now. So you get 5% discount on that too. We were having troubles with our store website. Authorized.net was having issues. That's who our credit card processing goes through. So we had to switch it to, it was just a total pain in the patooey over the weekend. So, but that is all working now again. And a reminder, if you have any desire to order orthomolecular or biotic research products or Apex products, contact us, because those companies don't allow online sales, so they don't allow us to have them on the store. Though we can sell the products, we just can't have them on the store. It's absolutely ridiculous, but that's their rule. So just call in your order and we'll help you with it, get that ordered. Also, if there's any other products that you order somewhere else, if you don't see it on our store, call us and we can see if we can get it for you. All right, so let's get to some of the questions. Remember, all our courses are available, and the new course, I think I'm super proud of it. It's all new material. You or a loved one have any issues with autoimmune disease, you really need to look at that course. These courses are all free to you guys. So the autoimmune course got all new videos, all new content. And the information on section or module 6 on Hashimoto's is literally, there's probably maybe 50 doctors in the world that know that information. So it can be really helpful if you or a loved one has Hashimoto's or any autoimmune disease. So make sure, if you have time, take a peek at those. Also, our blog is back on our site. Make sure you search the blog for anything. We have almost 1,000 blog posts of information. So if you can't wait till next Wednesday for your question, might have already been answered in a blog post. So look at that too. Okay, first question. On our call, we discussed the Dutch test for hormone, the Dutch test. Which one do you suggest me to order, the Dutch Plus or the Dutch Complete? Also, you took me off the iodine on the breast, but do I need to be taking I need to be taking it internally for the thyroid? Currently, I'm not on any other iodine supplement. So the first question, what should you do if you're going to do the Dutch test? Should you do the Dutch test plus this one here, or should you do the Dutch test complete? So the Dutch complete is the one I typically recommend. The plus adds some organic acid tests, but it's not a complete organic acid test. So I would just say, just do the complete, the cheaper one, the 325. This is the one I have everybody do, is the complete. It's the organic acid test that's included in this doesn't have enough tests for me to justify adding the $100 in it. We're going to do an organic acid test and do a full organic acid test from Great Plains. So that's that first question. Do the complete, the cheaper one, the less expensive one. You took me off the iodine on the breast. Yes, I did. But do I need to be taking it internally for the thyroid? Well, should anybody be taking iodine for the thyroid? Well, what you're going to find is all the new information on this course right here, module 6. I lay out in great detail why no one should be taking iodine at all. The only time you should be taking iodine is for a short period of time for breast cancer, but nobody else should be taking iodine. Nobody should be taking iodine for their thyroid gland. And I won't go into any greater detail on that. And I know some of you who have been in functional medicine for a while go, what? That makes no sense. Of course, everybody needs iodine. Yes, you need iodine to make T3, but you need such a little amount. You should not be taking any exogenous iodine, meaning any supplemental iodine at all. Zero, none. So don't be taking iodine. If you want more information on that, go to module 6 on the autoimmune course. Currently, I'm not on any other iodine supplement. That's exactly right. That's what I wanted. My Ayurvedic doctor tested all my supplements via electrodermal testing. How does this compare to kinesiology? Well, it's just different. So electrodermal testing is you put your hand on a cradle and you test a supplement, and it can test positive or negative for you. And it's just a different way to test. With kinesiology, with my kinesiology, I lock into your body, then lock into cancer, and we're testing it against cancer. We're not testing the supplements just, in random. So it's tested against your cancer. So that's the difference on how we do kinesiology. That being said, there's all sorts of different practitioners that do kinesiology that just personally I wouldn't trust. So I mean, it is an art form that you have to trust the person doing it. Out of the 35 supplements that I'm taking, he said my body only responded well to 4, and I should only take those 4. So what should I do? I really don't know what to do since I purchased all these supplements already. Well, again, I'm not ever telling anybody here that you got to do it my way, or you got to make that decision on what you got to do. You trusted me to test you, and it came back the testing that came back, and you're going to somebody else to test you too. Then you got to just decide what you want to do. So I can't tell you, no, you need to do this. Your body knows, and you need to make that decision. If that practitioner is being kind of arrogant and saying this is all you should be doing, you should be doing it, well, then you got to make that decision. I'm not going to get into an argument between practitioners. So you got to decide what you want to do. Verzenio is the drug that my oncologist may recommend for me. Please see the screenshots. Yes, I did. I saw the email of that. What do you think about that with DIM to regulate my hormones instead of tamoxifen? Is Verzenio okay or not good? Well, remember the law. I can't comment on drugs. So if it's a prescription medication, that's something you have to talk to your prescribing doctor about. That's where I have to draw the line with our medical legal perspective, that I cannot be saying, oh yeah, that's a good drug, you should take that drug, or don't ever take that drug. And then that gets back, and that's just, I can't legally do that. So I'm not a prescribing doctor, so you have to talk to a prescribing doctor about that. With any drug, we always recommend that you Google it, and you Google the side effects of it, and you Google any studies you can find about it. So, but I apologize. I just have to stay medical, legal, all that. In the 7 phases of detoxification course, hey, great. You say that phase 6 support is intended for short-term use only. What's considered long-term use? Okay, so the reason why it's stated that it's for short-term use is solely because of this in it right here, this Cape aloe. Cape aloe is a type of aloe that is really good at drawing water into the colon and loosening your bowels. So we have another product. We have private label from Orthomolecular. It's their Super Aloe 250. It's our phase 6 assist, and that is 250 milligrams of Cape Aloe. This 2 capsules has 50 milligrams. The other one is just straight Cape Aloe. It doesn't have the Strophalia in it, and it is 250 milligrams Cape Aloe per capsule. Now, I have some people taking 2 of those a day, and they've been taking 2 of those a day for the last 2 years. There's nothing wrong with staying on it long-term if you need to. If you know why you have issues. The people that are doing that have colon issues. They're not ignoring the fact that they have colon issues. They're dealing with that. But when you have colon cancer or something like that, and you need to keep your bowels loose, there's nothing wrong with staying on Cape Aloe long-term. It's just all the manufacturers have to put it in there that it's not meant for long-term use. And it's really because if you have that chronic constipation that you have to be taking a laxative of any type long term, you're not dealing with the reason why you have the chronic constipation. That's not correct management. But if you have chronic constipation because you have colon cancer or something like that, you already know that. We're trying to deal with that. There's nothing wrong with staying on that. This is actually much lower, but any company that uses Cape Aloe says it's not intended for long-term use. Certainly this product here could be used long-term. I like this product because it's only got 50 milligrams of the Cape Aloe, the Triphalia, which is really good for healing the gut, and the magnesium, which draws water into the gut. So this is a really good product for just mild constipation issues. Even with the phase 6 assist, I don't recommend people take it on a daily basis, though some people do. Most people take it just when they feel like they're backed up, they ate a bunch of meat or something like that. That tends to back them up a little bit, and they take that for a couple of days and clean themselves out. You could certainly take this long-term, this product long-term. There's not really wrong with that. This one, I've lost all my desire to eat, not sure what to do. So when we lose our desire to eat, and or we find ourselves losing weight and we can't keep weight on, that is typically a sign of cachexia. The definition of cachexia is when you're losing 2 to 4 pounds a week, no matter what you eat, you can't keep your weight on, you just keep losing weight. So cachexia is a phenomena in chronic illness and in cancer. And there's no perfect definition of why physiologically that it takes place. I wrote a blog post about this. So go to the blog section here, right there, search cachexia in the blog post. And I have a video even on that blog. There's a picture of the video. I just took a screenshot of the blog post. Watch that video because I give a bunch of hints to deal with weight loss and when I lose my desire to eat, we just have to eat. You have to remember you're eating to live, regardless of whether you feel hungry or not. So make sure you don't stop eating. You can't get in a state where you're losing weight on a weekly basis. That is very detrimental. We don't want to get into that state. So watch that video. There's some different exercises you can do, some different things that you can do that can be really helpful. My town now has an IV infusion bar. Would vitamin C with glutathione IV be good or bad for colon cancer? It would be good. There would be no downsides of this. So even though maybe it didn't test well with kinesiology as a big positive, there could be other positives. Remember, I'm locking into specifically the cancer. When I test, it can be good for other things in your body. Certainly, glutathione is your #1 antioxidant in all your intercellular spaces. It's super important for your lungs and such, which the way I'm talking right now, I think I need to take some glutathione. But that could be a real big benefit. So yeah, go for it. That would be great. Okay, questions on the chat. Is it okay to do face rejuvenation with hyaluronic acid injections? Is it going to affect the tumor? I don't know how hyaluronic acid breaks down metabolically. I'm not a big fan of any injections like this. Boy, that's a toughie. I'd have to do some research to see how that breaks down, if it's possible. So a lot of the injections, like Botox injections, it's not uncommon for that to cause autoimmune diseases. And I'm not sure about the hyaluronic acid. I know taking it orally is no problem. I just don't know about injecting it. I guess I don't have an answer for that. I apologize. Are you familiar with Dr. Thomas Siegfried? Yes. What are your thoughts on him saying that no tumor can survive if you're in ketosis, no glucose and glutamine? Well, the only thing I don't like about his book he wrote, was it The Metabolic Something of Cancer or something like that? He doesn't practice. He's just a researcher. So he doesn't actually see cancer patients. In his book, he only had an example of one cancer patient who had smoldering multiple myeloma. It's not a good example as having one case study to work through with your book. And I am totally in agreement that many times, especially if you have HIF1 gene defects, and you're going to be way more prone for your cancer to be feeding on the end stage of glycolysis, just feeding off of lactic acid, because you don't convert lactic acid into acetyl coenzyme A very quickly. That, going on a more ketogenic diet can be helpful. So if nobody's read his book, except the person who asked the question, he thinks every cancer patient should go on a ketogenic diet. And to me, whenever anybody says a comment like that, it's an instant red flag, because every human being is different. Every cancer is different. I don't care if you and your twin brother have colon cancer, it could be completely different in your two bodies. So it's just not, when you make blanket statements like that, to me, it shows a little bit of ignorance in real life practice. So I guess that was all I'd say about that. I just disagree with that. I think everybody is different. Some people's bodies, their cancers feed totally different than other people. So I just don't necessarily agree with it. I was told through your genetic testing that a keto diet would be good for me. Okay, so who's asking this question? I don't remember your genetics. You may have a lot of HIF1 gene defects. So going on a ketogenic diet is something you could do. And if you don't have to go full ketogenic and get into ketosis. You could just do a kind of a modified ketogenic diet. That's where intermittent fasting can be super beneficial for people. So I probably recommended intermittent fasting for you as well. Not a question, but a quick update. Here it is. 1 year after Rifen and being on your program, my most recent blood work came back incredible. Lowest cancer marker scores ever. Wow, almost non-existent. And literally no hormones circulating anymore. I have never felt better and will forward you all my lab work shortly. Thank you for all you do. Thank you. Would love to have your testimony. I haven't asked for testimony since the board made us take our testimonial page down. Well, I haven't asked for testimonies for probably 2 years before that. But if you guys have testimonials, would love to have them. Love to have a picture of you with your testimony too. You could email them to me. That would be wonderful. I'd really much appreciate that. We did put our testimony page back up, but not public. It's only on a few pages to get to. So, and it's on our course. So we have some testimonial videos on some of our courses. You may have seen that. But we didn't put our whole page back up. So I missed this question here. My adenocarcinoma lung tumor is growing in size, not apparently responding to traditional targeted drug therapy, nor to Rife and vitamin supplement therapies. The oncologist wants to start immunotherapy for genetic markers of amplification proteins that are reproducing during cell mitosis. It feels like they want to treat symptoms to me. What really is amplification? How does it relate to original genetic mutated cells? And what should I be consider doing right now? Well, we should have a phone conversation, but we've had people respond just tremendously to immunotherapy. So we've also had people respond horribly to immunotherapy in their mind. I honestly think that, we had one patient that passed away 2 years ago, and his wife just swore it was the immunotherapy that killed him. I'm not positive about that. And granted, some people can respond horribly to a therapy. We've had other people respond poorly to immunotherapy, but we've had just miracles with it too. It couples really well with the Rife. And I've told you before that there is a study that just started using at Mayo using immunotherapy and our Evolve Immune and our Evolve Entourage. Now, Alovia Immune, Alovia Entourage. They're using that coupled with immunotherapy, which is kind of interesting. So I'm not against immunotherapy if everything else isn't working. You might want to look at doing another cheek swab too. We should probably have a conversation. What do you think about the Budwig mixture? So I'm very pro using the Budwig. I do not believe everything that they say. They say that, well, it's not when you add the oil to the cottage cheese, it changes the cottage cheese so you don't have the effect of the dairy. Sorry, the physiological response is imaginary. So you can't change the physiology of the dairy. So if your cancer is driven by dairy, that's my only concern with Budwig. So you're eating a cup of cottage cheese on a daily basis. I guess if you've completely eliminated all other dairy and you're just doing the Budwig, we have a number of people that are doing that. I'm not against that. So again, that's another thing to pray about. I'm not against doing Budwig. I just don't want the dairy to be feeding your cancer. Can I use, I think this person means high pH water with minerals and electrolytes in my coffee enema? Sure, absolutely. Our tap water seems to be somewhat salty. Huh. How careful do I need to be with salt amount in the ion foot bath? Well, the amount of salt you have to play with. So if your tap water has a lot of minerals in it, you're going to need less salt in the ion ProWave. If it has less minerals in it, you're going to need more salt. Like if you're using reverse osmosis water in your ion ProWave, then you need to add more salt. So you're going to have to play with that. I think it lists at 3/4 of a teaspoon or something like the tablespoon. So you're going to have to play with that dosage. You'll get the feel of what works best with your water. Yes, Kim, on a keto diet. Okay. Yeah, certainly you could try that keto diet if your genetics look that way too. And I gave that mention that you do good on a keto diet, you could do it. Just remember, keto diets are really hard to stick to and hard to do. So, and the only thing you have to be really careful about, so many keto diets are just so high in dairy. And you remember dairy, even if dairy isn't a driver of your cancer, dairy's got so many growth hormones in it. That's the difficult thing about being on a keto diet, is that a lot of the things that you're eating on a keto diet aren't necessarily good for you. Okay, you'll send one in. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I previously accessed the detox course videos. A few days ago, I tried to access the autoimmune course. Unlike most other courses that just have a link to access the course. Okay, so you should not have to pay for the course. I think I thought I emailed Dustin to fix your login. Look at your if you just be patient with me, I'm just gonna look at your accessibility real quick. Reed, are you on the line? If you could just access Patty's and make sure she's clicked for the autoimmune course, that would be great, because I don't know how to do that. Yeah, we should have that fixed so that will work. So if it doesn't work by the end of this course, I think Braid's on this. She can fix it, and you call the office and we'll get that fixed for you. It's been 2 months since my autologous immunotherapy. Did it start working immediately, or does it take a while? Yes. I don't know. Have you talked to the practitioner who did that? I'm not familiar enough with it, how fast that starts working. We don't do that. That's what you had down in Mexico. So, you're going to need to talk to them about it. I apologize. Tony is going to get immunotherapy next after light chemo and radiation. Should he send a cheek swab in before he begins immunotherapy or after? I'd say right after he does his first session. Right after he does his first session, because it's going to change his biochemistry. So right after he does his first session, then send that in. Okay, is the cystitis setting on Rife good for all cysts? No. Cystitis is for bladder infections. So that's what that's for. Can I supplement with it to shrink my pancreatic cyst? No, I wouldn't use that. I would continue to run the pancreatic programs that I gave you. I don't think there's just a cyst program in the Rife. I have everything that I think you'll need in your overnight. If you're going to send a cheek swab, did you say you're going to send a cheek swab in? If you do, I can check your Rife setting to see if I need to update your frequencies or not. But that's for bladder infections. I'm not sure why they did the immunotherapy after the chemo and radiation, but is there anything we should be asking in regard to that? No, that's what they usually do. So, it used to be that you don't qualify for immunotherapy unless you fail chemotherapy, but it depends on the cancer, and now it's becoming more acceptable, thank goodness. I'm thinking that I am getting dried bumps on the scab on my face. Can this be something coming out from detoxing? My skin usually is not like this. I'm wondering if castor oil packs I do on my head and neck are causing this. I think we should do a cheek swab. So yeah, send that in. There's just too many possibilities with that. If you could email me a picture too, that would be great. Try to get some close-ups of it if you can, and then send me as many pictures as you can. That would be great. Just send it to labs or info@Connor's Clinic, and it'll come right to me. Thank you. Okay, Patty, I'm looking at your thing. You are checked for the autoimmune course. So if you can try it again and make sure you're using the same username and password. Hold on, let me uncheck it, save it, and then I'm going to check it again. So so that it just kind of resets. Let me do that again here. Okay, I kind of reset it. So hopefully that will work now. yeah, if you logged into the member site, you should be good to go because you'll use your same username and password as the member site. So now I just reset it. So give it another try. If it doesn't work, I have no idea because it looks like you're good for all the courses of the member site here on my computer. So hopefully that will work. If anybody else is having trouble getting into any courses, just let us know. Just email us. Okay. Any other questions? Can spending one day at my sister-in-law's who smokes in her house cause my cancer to get worse? Normally I'd say no, but the truth is that anything that can just really, smoking has benzenes in the smoke. It has all sorts of other negative things in the smoke. Um, very high oxidation rate of cigarette smoke. If you're dealing with detoxification pathways already, could it cause a flare up because it's going to cause inflammation? Possibly, especially if you have antibodies to benzene, which isn't that uncommon. So you could look at what's called a Cyrex Array 5, and that will give you that will show, that's an antibody test. It will show if you have antibodies to cigarette smoke. I can't wait till they add the antibodies to mRNA viruses into that test. Hopefully, maybe they never will, just for medical legal reasons. But I do know that we've had people that went and visited people that were vaccinated, and their cancer got worse noticeably because they had a visible lymphoma and it got worse. We've had lots of people that got vaccinated, their cancer was in remission and their cancer just took off and they passed away. So I do know that, exposure to chemicals and exposure to things that cause inflammatory processes and cell damage and oxidation can cause a cancer to grow. So years ago, I would have said no, but now we're just experiencing that more and more. So I'd say yes. Do you think that Michael Carfield has any treatments that are worth getting? Good question. I just interviewed him on a Connors Clinic podcast. I liked him as a person, but I just talked to a person on the phone a couple of weeks ago. They went and visited him and explored what he offered, and they didn't like his clinic at all. But everybody's different. So I don't know. I really liked him. I thought he was a really nice guy. Personally, I don't know all the therapies that he has to offer. He talked about one or two of them. I thought, well, that's really neat. So that's, I think, something to explore. At least have a conversation with them, I think would be a good idea. What are your thoughts on me doing a 3-day water fast? So a 3-day water fast, the only negative, we've talked about this a lot, that the only negative about doing more than a 24-hour fast for a cancer patient is that your IGF-1 levels go up. So, and that's a benefit if you don't have cancer. So doing a long-term fast, like a 3-day water fast once a month for a person who doesn't have cancer, that's really beneficial. You want your IGF-1 levels to go up. That can help things grow, that can help you rejuvenate things. But it's generally considered that you don't want your IGF-1 levels to go up when you have active cancer. So it's generally recommended that you don't do anything more than a 24-hour fast if you have active cancer. The only exception to that would be if you're going to do IV chemotherapy, and we recommend a 24-hour fast before your IV chemotherapy, but some people recommend a 48-hour fast before that because you just want your cells so hungry that they'll basically gobble up the chemotherapy. That's the idea. But so that's the whole idea, is just to stick to a 24-hour fast, and then also consider doing time restricted eating as well. Are fermented foods okay? If you don't have histamine issues, fermented foods are really good for you. So if you have histamine issues and histamine is driving your cancer, those are more so breast cancer patients, but histamine can drive colon cancer and such too. So if histamine is an issue, then you don't want fermented foods. You want to stay away from too much of that. Do you have an interview of yourself that is a good introduction to you and your clinic that I can forward to some friends? We have some on our website. I have lots. I mean, I don't, I'll be honest with you. I have never once listened to one of my videos. Not one. I can't stand listening to myself. So, but I'll ask my staff what they think was a good interview. We had a lot of comments on the breast cancer survivor, Dr. V podcast. She interviewed me a couple of years ago. We had a lot of really good comments on that, but I will ask my staff what they think it is, and we can email you the link. But thank you for even wanting to recommend us. I appreciate that. That's quite an honor. What do you think of reverse osmosis water? Personally, we have reverse osmosis water at our clinic. So our clinic is out in the country, but we have a lot of nitrates in the water. So we did get a reverse osmosis unit because that will take those out. At my home, we live in the country and we have a well also. We do not have a reverse osmosis unit because we haven't had our water tested and it's like great. So I want the nutrients that are in the water too. So I don't have a reverse osmosis. But every time I did live in the city where we had chlorine and fluoride, we had a reverse osmosis unit. Now, a lot of people say, oh, that's not good because your water's dead. I'm sorry, but I'm not drinking my water to get minerals from my water. I'm drinking my water for the water. So I'm getting minerals from my food. So I don't buy that argument. I think reverse osmosis is the best way to take out, other things and chemicals that, just a simple carbon filter won't take out. Carbon will take out a lot of the fluoride and a lot of the chlorine, but it's not going to take out the nitrates. It's not going to take out any like heavy metals or mercury or arsenic and things that are commonly in water. So I am a fan of reverse osmosis. Local practitioner told me that distilled water is the only thing that takes out uranium. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know if that's true or not. It's typically not a lot of uranium in your water supplies, but I mean, I've had people with uranium toxicity. I had one guy, you want to hear a funny story? It's not funny. This guy had major problems, major colon problems. Matter of fact, he came to me as a last ditch effort because they were going to actually remove a large part of his colon. He did not have cancer. But he tested positive for uranium, and I thought, I have no idea. And he lived in an area where you could search the groundwater. There's a website. I forgot the name of it. It's on our website. I have a blog post about it. But you can search for local contaminants. And nope, not in his water supply, not in anything like that. And then it turns out that his wife has this collection of you know what antique glassware is? That's actually uranium glass, that they changed the name of it because when they used uranium in World War II to make the bomb, they changed the name of it to Carnival glass. Well, that has uranium in it, especially the green stuff. And his wife has this huge collection of it. And he was a builder, and they move every year. They build a spec house, they sell a spec house, and they move, build another spec house. And he said, I have to move, and I'm the one who has to handle all that glassware. He was getting uranium toxicity from that glassware. Not good. So we did pull it out with just homeopaths, and he got better. Can you talk about what symptoms can happen while using the Rife for cancer? Well, Some people, very small percentage of the people, can have kind of like detox symptoms. The 90% plus don't have any symptom changes. Now, you will have symptom changes if you just started changing your diet and you just started doing other things, doing detoxes and stuff that you make any lifestyle change and your physiology changes, you could have some detox type reactions. The other thing that you can happen when you're using the Rife is you can feel a little tingle at the site of the cancer. That's not everybody. That's only maybe half the people, maybe not even that much. But other than that, you're not going to notice any big symptom changes from the Rife itself. What are your thoughts on having a weekly Myers cocktail? I'm not a fan of this. And the reason why I'm not a fan of this is because Myers cocktail IV is all synthetic B vitamins. They're not a good source of supplements. So I'm not a fan of that at all. I'm going to keep taking all my subs. I heard oral Laetrile is not good because it messes up stomach. Is that true or not true? That is just totally not true. I mean, we've been using oral Laetrile for, since the late 90s. We've never had anybody have any stomach problems except one person. And that was a person who wasn't even supposed to be taking it. And they took like 10 capsules at one time. I didn't even recommend it. They had it and they took 10 capsules and they got really sick for about, 6 hours. They were really sick. But then it passed, but never had anybody have stomach problems with it. You recommend high dose vitamin C for cancer? Yeah, it can be really good. But I didn't recommend it in your testing, then I wouldn't go out and look for it. Like this person in the question said, hey, we just got it in a Fusion bar in my my city. I would like to try it. Is it bad for colon cancer? No, I wouldn't say it's bad for colon cancer. So if he wants to try it, then go ahead and try it. But if I didn't test, I wouldn't necessarily seek it out. I have her take out the B complex in the Myers cocktail. Still, I think everything in it is synthetic. I don't know why you'd want to take it. I mean, it's not like you're like deficient in nutrients and you're like your body is starving to death or something. So that's the reason why it was created. If a person is just totally famished of nutrition and they're just trying to get some nutrition back in this person's body. Otherwise, they're just selling you something. So I wouldn't do that. My oncologist told me that hormone blockers, which are shrinking my breast tumors, is killing the cancer. I remember you saying that that's not true. Your thoughts? Well, no, I don't think the hormone blockers are killing your cancer. So understand that that's just the way he's explaining it to you. So what are bad estrogens doing to estrogen positive tumor? So bad estrogens are attaching to a receptor on the cell membrane of the cancer called the beta receptor on the cell membrane of the cancer. The beta receptor is an apoptotic receptor. So it doesn't allow, you're doing all this other stuff to kill the cancer. You're using the Rife, you're doing all this nutrition, you're stimulating your immune system. Person might be doing chemotherapy, etc. Right? And if you are, blocking the cell death of that breast tumor, because you're not reducing the estrogens well enough from a natural perspective, or maybe you're not doing a natural perspective at all, then it can keep the cell alive. So when you get rid of the bad estrogens completely, because you're getting rid of all your estrogens with a hormone aromatase inhibitor type drug, then you allow everything else that you are doing to kill the cancer to kill the cancer. So you allow that process to take place better. So I would say he's just explaining it to you in a more simplistic fashion. because you're smarter than that, you're not buying it. So I have felt depleted of my electrolytes. That's why I did Myers. Okay. And I am familiar with curcumin IVs. There's nothing wrong with that for sure. So yeah. Any other questions? Okay, well, thanks for being on, Patty. If you still can't get on the autoimmune course, call back. Call the clinic, and Dustin will have to work on it tomorrow or something. I don't know what's going on then. All right, know that I'm praying for all you guys. Thank you for your prayers for us, and just continue the good fight. Keep looking at the course, looking at the member site, look at whatever's new on there, and the blogs. If you can't find anything, make sure you give us a call. You can always make an appointment with me too. All right, everybody, bye-bye. Have a good weekend.